attempt to abandon the vessel unless specifically instructed to do so by a crew member. Thank you.
Well, hello. So I'm on the wonderful Isle of Mull and I'm here for 36 hours. So I arrived at 7 this morning, it's now about 8 and I'm leaving at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Now I've abandoned my family. They're at home back on the east coast and I'm over here taking photos, which is a really bad sign because I've done this twice before in the last sort of year where I've completely gone off on my own. The first time there was a temperature inversion forecast, so I headed up into the hills and this happened. The next time I went over to Skye, which went a lot better. I got some great photos, but then I made a very bad mistake. I formatted the disc instead of erased all but the protected images, so I lost generally most of them. I got some good pictures, but I've been too disgusted to actually post a video on this. I'm just going to get rid of this midge from my ear. I'm over here and in an hour's time I'll be going out with Mull Charters, going off trying to photograph white-tailed eagles, and it's looking good. This looks like the day for getting pictures of white-tailed eagles reflected as they hit the water. It's stunningly calm. The only bad thing, which is slightly annoying, is that there was sighting of orca here yesterday. Now, if there's one thing that guarantees there not to be orca here today, it was the fact that we're here yesterday, because orca are very, very nomadic. If they appear at a spot, they will then disappear and they could be anywhere else. So if you see a map showing you where orca are, don't go looking there tomorrow. It's probably the least likely place within 100 miles that they'll turn up, so no chance of orca today. But I've been lucky with them in the past, as you've probably seen my video, quite possibly. If you haven't, it's on my channel, when a pod of orca turned up in Stonehaven. So if you haven't done that, then have a look, but also if you'd like and subscribe. I need all the subscribers I can get, so if you could do that, that'd be great. Let's see what happens on Mull. So I thought I'd just explain why there's been no films for a while now. I've just been really busy. I've got a film that's nearly ready to go, looking at mirrorless cameras and how fantastic they are for birds in flight, which hopefully I'll prove again later today. But I've decided to put my money where my mouth is, so I'm getting ready to have a stall at Scotland's Trade Fair, where I'll be selling my prints and greetings cards. So if you're interested in buying any of my prints and greetings cards, then there's links below. But I've been really busy coming up with an entire new range and getting things ready for the show. So if you happen to be there, then come along and say hello. If not, I'll be putting a list of places at the bottom of the email idiot, at the bottom of this film, which can tell you where you can buy my cards, or as I say, you can buy them directly online. But yeah, let's go and see if I can get a white-tailed eagle card to add to the collection. So I've booked my trip to photograph the seagulls with Mull Charters. I've tried other boat trips in Scotland that are cheaper, however they were not successful. Mull Charters run 3 levels of trip. I went on the morning trip, which is the cheapest and has up to 8 people and lasts for about 3 hours. The afternoon trip is longer and has less people, but is more expensive, and then they do a bespoke photographer's trip with a maximum of 4 people on board, although that is starting to get quite pricey, but I think it would be worth it. My trip was excellent, the crew very knowledgeable. The only thing is, this was not a suitable trip for recording audio due to the noise of the engine and wind noise, so I'm having to do everything on voiceover. Well, my worries about this not being a very good trip and things not working out proved to be quite incorrect. That was amazing. So we set off, and straight away we came across these 2 eagles, adult, apparently the male, an immature one, sat on the rocks just not far from the harbour at all. So we sailed past them, which I was quite surprised, and then one of the adults flew in and made a dive at the other side of the boat, and I got a few photos. And then one came in and dived at my side of the boat, and unfortunately just the position of it meant that it was more or less a direct stoop down. I just wasn't on it quick enough, and I thought, I've blown it. But a few minutes later, a pair of eagles flew in again, and I managed to get a whole series of shots of them. Now, because these are big birds, you can get away with about ISO 2500, which is what I was using. Sorry. A shutter speed of 2500. It was f8 to try and get the wingtips in focus, and I managed to get quite a few shots. So I'll go through a few of them here, maybe a bit of tinkly music in the background. So if you watch most YouTube videos of people showing their bird in flight images, they'll show you a few images. However, they won't show all the ones with the wings clipped, they won't show how much of a crop they've been making, and just how often they were out of focus and not sharp. Now, to try and make sure that I did something a bit different and a bit more honest, I'm actually going to show you the full sequences from most of the dives I saw, or at least the best ones. Then I'll be including in there the sort of best shots, the ones that I've edited, so you can see what was going on. Photographing the eagles was quite difficult. I mean, you'd expect that, they're not easy birds. However, you at least have a good big target. One thing to remember is to have a fast SD card, because if you have the slow one in, you can lose a whole dive due to buffering. And also to try and get as many shots as possible, trying to include a wide range of habitat, quite a lot of different behaviour, and some of the backgrounds. I particularly liked showing the background as the birds dived in, with a bit of the Scottish countryside behind. The relationship between the guides, the people who own the boat, and the eagles was quite amusing. Actually watching the guides point to where the fish was going to be thrown so the eagle could get ready was quite something to see, you know, air traffic control in action. The trip was excellent and the eagles performed beautifully. This is the male shown now. The female has quite a few feathers missing, and the young bird generally just sat waiting to be fed. Kids, you know what they're like. Watching the bird take the fish from the water was utterly spectacular, remembering these birds do have an 8-foot wingspan. What a day. And a couple of my favourites, this is one that I particularly liked, showing the habitat behind, and I also like this one on the dive down. So we had probably 8 to 10 visits from eagles on this trip, which was just fantastic. But we carried on out, and in the distance I could see a commotion on the water, and thankfully the crew had spotted it before me and was heading that way. And we came across this group of common dolphins, and oh man, there must have been 100, and there were some tiny little baby ones, absolutely miniature compared to the ones I'm used to over on the east coast, the bottlenose. They're just so small, are the common dolphins. They're like little sports dolphins as well, they're so much faster. And yeah, that was amazing. So far it's been a great trip, and I'll show you some footage of the dolphins now. Maybe even a bit of Scottish tinkly music to go in the background as well. But I've still got another, this is only probably hour 5 out of my 36. So I'm going to go head to Tobermory now, get some lunch and get stocked up. And then I'm going to head round and see what I can see on Mull. So, see what we see. Heading south. Had my nice stop in Tobermory and headed to Stirling, and then started driving south and ended up taking some quite interesting photos. I came here looking for birds of prey, maybe otters, maybe sort of whales and dolphins, and ended up stopping and taking pictures of some bracket fungus that were in a tree. Absolutely amazing. I couldn't film it because I was yeah, it wasn't a good place to stop. I basically stopped in the middle of the road. Thankfully nobody came, but I got out, grabbed a few photos which I'll show here. But they were the biggest bracket fungus I've ever seen. They were beautiful and some quite nice foliage around them as well, so yeah, that was really good. I've just been driving along here and I'm sort of doing that, driving slowly, keeping an eye both in front and behind to, what's that? What is that? That is a white-tailed eagle. So I've got a white-tailed eagle. Okay. Oh, gone. Yeah. Well, adult white-tailed eagle sat on an island. Alright, so it's not going to beat the photos from this morning, but you know, it seemed rude to see a white-tailed eagle and not take some pictures. But I'm going to carry on south and see what I see. Looks like quite a good fun road ahead. Alright, I'll get back to you a bit later next time I see something. There's a couple of things I really like about mussels. One, cooking them this way, they're very quick, they're very cheap. Nice. They're also one of the few foods that comes with their own cooking implement. Sorry, their own cutlery. So I spent the remainder of the day trying to photograph herons in the gloom, but it was soon time to find somewhere to sleep for the night and to try and get at least a little bit of rest. I was up well before dawn, ready the next day. So why don't you join me and see what I get up to on my second day on the wonderful Isle of Mull. Lots more wildlife to come. Thank you for watching. Oh, and please like and subscribe. Had to mention it again. Bye for now.